One of the most common questions that I get is, Craig, should I get a business partner? Well, let me tell you, you can see that sometimes getting a business partner can lead to a lot of pain. It can also lead to a lot of profits. I've made a ton of money working with business partners, but I've also lost money, I've lost sleep, I've lost friendships. And so today, in this video, I want to go through the 3 pros and cons of having a business partner so that you can make the right decision for you. All right, so the first pro, the first benefit to having a business partner is that both of you come in and you're able to share your resources. Now, maybe it would take $10,000 to start your business. Maybe it's starting a gym, or maybe it's putting money into Facebook ads, but you alone don't have 10K. You have a couple $1,000. Your business partner has a couple $1,000, and the next thing you know, you have enough capital to fund your business without going for a loan or asking for investors. So that's good. At the same time, you also share resources in terms of your skills and knowledge. So you're good at this, that person's good at that, and the next thing you know, you can combine kind of like some type of transformer to make the ultimate business partnership. Now on the flip side though, you have to share the rewards. So that's the con, right? You have to share the rewards. If you had just simply worked a little longer and built up all that capital on your own and not relied on a business partner, you would keep 100% of the profits in the business. But now, because you partnered with somebody, maybe because you needed their resources, well, now you have to split the money with them. And as partnerships go on and disagreements arise, well, you could end up in a lot of trouble. Another con is that most people start a business partnership too early in the relationship. Maybe you go to an event and you meet somebody and they're gung-ho and you're super fired up and you're like, I like you, you like me, let's do a business together. That's rushing into things a little bit. It's like going to Vegas, meeting a girl and taking her to the little white chapel in 24 hours. Usually those things don't turn out too well. So if you rush into the business partnership and you don't get the actual proper legal contracts, a few months or years go by and you run into that disagreement, you then have no partnership agreement, you have no legal structure, and it's gonna be a bloody, bloody fight. I don't want that to happen to you. So while the pros are that you share resources, the cons are that you share rewards and you share a ton of the risks. Now, the next thing about a positive in a business partnership is that in theory, it should be 50-50 delegation of the work. A great business partnership is where you have 2 smart people come in and one of them's really good at one component of the business, the other's really good at the other component of the business, and again, together you combine into this super powerful mega business partnership. But in most cases, the reality is that one person comes in thinking it's going to be 50-50, and you know where this is going because you're probably living it right now if you're against business partnerships. That 50-50, well, they only do 20%. And you do 80%, 90%. I can't tell you how many times I have coached business partnerships, or just one of the people in the partnership because the other person didn't want to be involved in the coaching, and the person that I was coaching was doing all of the work. I've got a client right now in Australia and his business partner is not pulling their weight. And so there's knockdown, drag down, bloody battles between them. And unfortunately, it's hurting my client's other partnership, his romantic partnership outside of the business. So you can see how a bad partnership at work can absolutely destroy a lot of your life. My friend Bedros Keuilian and I have done multiple podcasts on this for our Empire show. And he and I are business partners in a mastermind group. We coach other entrepreneurs. And Bedros and I always say that if you go into a partnership and you think it's going to be 50-50 and you expect your partner to do 50-50 the work and you guys have that agreement, well, you're actually starting off on the wrong foot. Bedros says it has to be 100-100. Now, I know what you're thinking. Well, that doesn't actually equal 100%. No, but you each have to go into the business partnership willing to work as if you own 100% of it. And when you both do that, When you both enter into the partnership, not thinking it's 50-50, but that you are going to work as hard as if you owned it yourself, that's when the business partnerships work. Now, another thing about Bedros and I, he and I have known each other for 11 years. 11 years. We have a huge history. We know each other very well. We know if we are consistent, or if we're reliable, if we're dependable. We know each other's reputation in the industry. We know those things, and so we can make a good judgment, a good basis for our relationship. We can figure that out. Again, if you meet somebody last week at an event and you guys have a real fast friendship, that doesn't mean you should start a partnership in business. You need to know somebody for a long time. You need to know if they're going to show up on time. You're going to need to know if they like ghost you for 2 months and they just randomly disappear and that's just part of the way they live. You could end up in some big problems with partners if you don't have anything to see how they're going to act in the future. Past performance predicts future behavior in 99% of the cases. That goes for your friends in your personal life, that goes for your business partnerships, that goes for your clients, that goes for almost everybody that you deal with. And so if you are building a partnership based on an overnight relationship built at the bar at an event where you both had a couple of drinks and you came up with an amazing idea, that's not a good place to actually enter a formal business partnership. Don't rush into things because you're going to get burned later on. The next thing on the positive side is that generally business partners will have the same goals. You'll have the same vision. You'll have the same idea of where you want to take the business. You'll have the same idea of what you want to get out of the business. And you should be aligned generally with the same core values, the same action strategies. Generally you're going to be aligned. Now the problem is something that you might not expect. In most cases, in most business partnerships, people with similar strengths get together. Hey, listen, I love copywriting. You love copywriting. Let's start a business together. And then you get into the business, it's like, well, who's going to do the sales? I don't know, I'm really good at copywriting. Well, I'm really good at copywriting. And the next thing you know, you get down to fisticuffs because no one's willing to do the sales. If you partner with somebody who has the same strengths as you, that also means they have the same weaknesses as you. And no one in the partnership is going to be able to overcome the area of weakness, and the business will never be strong enough to survive. So again, if you go back to something I mentioned before, finding somebody who's strong where you are weak, that's a great partnership. In addition to reputation, legacy, and them doing all they say they do, that's a better partnership. That's a better connection. When you partner with your strengths and somebody else partners with their strengths, which are different than yours, and cover your weaknesses, and now you have strength throughout, that's the best way to do it. But if you partner with somebody who has the same strengths as you, you'll also have the same weaknesses, and that could hurt the business. Finally, the last positive about a partnership is that there's a division of labor. You come in, if you do it right, and you have adult conversations and you clearly assign and delineate roles, you know that partner A is involved in the operations. They do all the bookkeeping, they make sure the product gets sent out, they are in charge of customer service, they're in charge of tech. Great, that's their silo. You're over here in the sales and marketing. You get attention, you sell the products, you do all of that, you generate the revenue, they make sure to keep it. Hey, everybody's happy. So that's the positive when you get something aligned like that. But in most cases, there's a negative. There's not a division of labor, it's a division of friendship. So be very careful about going into a partnership with a friend. Just because you like them doesn't mean you should be in business with them. Just because you're married to somebody doesn't mean you should be in business with them. So think very, very clearly before you sign any partnership agreements. What matters more, the money or the friend? Because you can go and make money on your own, you can go and make money with another partner. But if the friend or the romantic partner really matters, it's probably important to keep them separate. Now, there's exceptions to the rules, but in most cases what I've seen is that the majority of partnerships do not work out. So tread lightly, go into them slowly, go into them with the proper legal agreements. Try to do your homework to make sure that they are the right person, that they are the person that they say they are, that they're dependable, reliable, they do what they say. Because if you don't do that difficult work now, if you don't have some tough conversations at the start, in the future, you're going to be having knock down, drag them out fights. They're going to be 100 times worse than offending somebody at the start. Because if they're offended at the start, you know that you're not going into it with the right partner. So there's pros and cons. You can come and say Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger, Steve Jobs and the other guy, forget his name, sorry, and all these other partnerships that did work out, those are generally the exceptions to the rule. So I say no partner, but it's up to you. Just make sure that you take into account everything that I've told you today. Let me know your experience with partnerships. Drop it down below, and then go watch my next videos that will help you do it all yourself and still save a ton of time and money building your business and living your perfect life.